Oops.
Hello.
Hello there. Doing fantastic. How are you?
I am also I am also doing really awesome.
You don't say. April 7th. Yeah. Who? Well, guys, I mean, I'm super excited. I don't know about you guys. I love this is like my other than Christmas, Star Wars celebration. And even though we've been pretty fortunate last year and this year with celebration 2 years in a row. Normally it's every 2 years. So the next one will be in 2025, as they announced. So there won't be one next year, but we'll get to this one first. And there's lots of stuff going on. I just wanted to quickly run over the schedule with everybody. It will be aired on the Star Wars YouTube channel if you guys subscribe to it, or I don't know. They'll be doing the stuff there, so it won't be. It's not every panel, which is kind of depressing. Because last year I remember it was like there was a few panels I wanted to see, and it was not live, which is kind of weird. But they probably just didn't want to share all the information or the videos. You know, all those some of those trailers that they showed, like the Mandalorian trailer that they showed, and it was like secrecy, and it was all. I don't know. People had their phones out, and you can see bad quality trailers of the Mandalorian season, or whatever it was. So they got to see that first, months and months before we saw it. So, anyways, rambling on. So we're gonna go with the schedule. Just a quick run through the schedule, and there might be something for everybody. Hopefully, there's a few exciting ones here for me, but we'll run through it as we go day by day. So it starts April 7th. They're beginning the whole thing with Lucasfilm's Studio Showcase, which is where they're going to announce hopefully some movies, which is exciting because they have announced movies, right? So
Yeah.
we're gonna see hopefully what's in line for that. Um, right. So it's exciting, yeah. So like the movies and possibly, obviously, they're going to announce whatever shows are coming up and all that stuff in the future. So that's going to be a good one to start. It's a good way to start off a show, or a good way to start off a weekend, I guess. Next one after that. Now they have like times here, but I'm not sure. Like if this is in Europe, um, so it doesn't specifically say the European time. It says just 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. So this could be all over the place. I don't know. So, anyways, London Calling design Star Wars productions in the UK. So just production stuff with some set decorators and production designers and stuff like that. Next after that, they have it's like a gap of like an hour between each one too. So like if you're watching it on the YouTube channel, they kind of have stuff in between, and they bring people on stage and stuff, guests on stage from the movies and stuff, and they go to different things around the convention center or whatever it is and show people or whatnot. So that to me that's interesting too. It's all cool stuff. But anyways, the making of Andor season 1 So I'm guessing they'll have executive producers Tony Gilroy and Diego Luna on stage talking about it. And that kind of wraps up first day. So the first day is usually the smallest day because I think they start at like half of the day, and then they just go to whenever it's done, and then start the new day, full day. So Saturday kicks off with the Ahsoka show. So they're going to be starting it off. So Filoni, Favreau, some special guests will be on stage with them. So that's what I'm looking forward to, as probably everybody else is. I'm hoping they have it on the YouTube channel. So that would be such a disappointing thing if they didn't. It right. I mean, that's probably like by looking at the schedule of that day, that's the biggest one for the day. So starting off with Ahsoka, I would hope so. He'll be on the YouTube channel, which would be cool. After that, bringing worlds to life, the concept artists of ILM. So you see Doug Chang and his members of the Light, Industrial Light, and Magic Art Department doing their stuff, talking about things and all that stuff, which is always interesting too. They're really good at their job. They're really good, right? So it's fun to listen and watch the stuff, and they bring stuff up on stage and stuff. Star Wars: The High Republic, they're talking will be next in the schedule. So that's there's a whole bunch of High Republic stuff. I'm not too in deep with the High Republic stuff, so I don't really know what's happening there, but yeah, of course, yeah. So I'm not sure either. Like I'm guessing because it says here like books, comics, audio, reveals phase 2. They're going to talk about phase 2 of the High Republic and stuff. So I don't know. There might be some live action phase 2 Republic stuff. Who knows? Like High Republic. I don't know. Or animation stuff. Who knows? After that, so they're doing the 40 years of Return of the Jedi panel. So it's going to be an hour panel on one of the stages. They're going to bring people up on stage from the film. They're going to relive it all that stuff. So that should be pretty interesting. Hopefully they do that live. That'd be pretty cool to see. Maybe we'll see Harrison Ford, you know, how he likes being there so much. Then after that, we got Star Wars Creator Cosplay Workshop. I'm guessing they're going to bring up costume designers and possibly it's something to do with the official cosplay competition. So this is where they bring everybody who dressed up for the event for the weekend and judge them all on the best costume, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Then after that, Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures screening. I guess so. Young Jedi Adventures. So they're going to be screening the first 2 episodes of that. Is that animation? Do you guys know what that is?
I don't know if I've heard of that one.
It says something on Disney Junior. Okay, it's probably
What do they call it? Young what?
The Young Jedi Adventures. I don't know. That's not the thing that Ahmed Best does, is it? Okay. So,
set during High Republic era, release on Disney Plus. Some shorts on Disney Junior.
Yeah, it says something about follows younglings as they study the ways of the Force, explore the galaxy, and learn valuable skills needed to become a Jedi. So, I guess they're doing kid stuff, which is cool. Cool for the kiddies.
Oh yeah. If you look at the picture there, it has like the Disney style with the big wet looking eyes.
Okay. Well, that'd be
Interesting.
that'd be interesting. Yeah, I might watch that
Yeah, just to see what it's like.
just
Why
to see what it's like. Yeah.
not? Same with like Lego Star Wars. I don't know if you guys have checked out much of that. Like I'm not super into it, but I still watch it just to see what kind of perspective kids get on the Star Wars, you know?
Yeah, I've seen the what's the
Oh, the
can't remember what it's called.
Remaker?
The Freemaker one. I've watched
Yeah, I
that.
like that one. I like that one.
Yeah. I haven't watched like a full season of it. I just watched like episode here, episode there, but it's pretty good. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
So anyways, moving on, Hasbro Star Wars and Indiana Jones panel. Um After that. So I'm guessing they're going to be, it says they're going to be showcasing the Black Series, Vintage Collections, Adventure Series, and Retro Collections of Star Wars and Indiana Jones, I guess. Premium roleplay offerings. Yeah, so Indiana Jones panel. I think it's, that's a toys panel or whatever. So it caught me off guard. Indiana Jones panel. I'm like, what? Here? Star Wars? But it's just for toys.
Mm.
Oh, for sure. Yep. Yeah. Black Series are good, man. You see a lot of that, but very expensive. That's why I don't have any. I know.
Yeah.
I know. All right. After that, Creature Cantina. They'll be going over various creature creations, droids, aliens, all that stuff. So if you're into that kind of stuff, that is your panel. After that, so we're getting 2 anniversary panels. So they're doing the Clone Wars 15-year anniversary to end off the day. So they'll be bringing Filoni, all the voice actors. It looks like Matthew Wood, D. Bradley Baker, Ashley Eckstein, Matt Latner, and James Arnold Taylor. So they'll be all sitting on the couches, reminiscing back and forth, which should be pretty cool. Hopefully they air that. That'd be neat. So that kind of rounds up. Oh, sorry. Go.
And yeah, I wanted to ask them. You keep saying like, hopefully they will air that. What do they do when they don't air it? Like they just
Well, sometimes they have things going on at the same time. Maybe it doesn't really look like it here, but sometimes there's stuff going on inside the convention center too that they would rather like. So if they're doing something that's not as like, I don't know how to say it, like yeah, I don't. Yeah. The actors and stuff, like some from the shows and stuff. Yeah. 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 Toys are
gotcha.
not for everybody, right? So I guess that's a good example. But I mean, it's the hosts of the Star Wars channel on YouTube, so they have their own little like circular couch and table section where they talk back and forth the actors and stuff out there. So
Yeah.
so they'll go back to that. So just I assume the Clone Wars and the Return of the Jedi stuff will be live on YouTube. To me, that's some of the stuff that'll stick out. Same with Ahsoka. I don't see them not airing that, like unless they're not going to show us any trailer. They're going to air a trailer just for the panel, the people that bought tickets, and we only get to see a trailer down the road. But I don't see that. I feel we're gonna get a trailer or some sort of teaser for Ahsoka. So, but
Yeah, I
anyway.
feel like this.
Yeah, they've done that. They've actually, I think they've taken us into the panel itself, and then when they aired the trailer, they didn't show anybody on YouTube. They just whatever, and then they came back. It's like they went to a camera outside with a convention center, watched people walk around, and then they came back in like just so it was just for the people that bought tickets for it or whatever it was. It is, yeah. It
That
is,
sounds
but
like they're missing out on opportunities there. Like the more eyes to see the trailer, the more hype, right?
yeah, I mean, I get you there.
Yeah.
I get you. Yeah, it was a while. Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Um, so that rounds up day 2 on Saturday. Day 3 starts off villains of the sequel trilogy. So it looks like they're bringing on Ian McDermott, Andy Serkis, and Gwendolyn Christie, and they're going to discuss their villainous roles on stage. That'd be pretty cool.
Nice.
Oh yeah, yeah. And he'll talk like the emperor on stage. Like there's always a little thing he brings up or whatever. Um, all right. Behind the magic, the visual effects of Andor. So I guess they're doing 2 segments of Andor because we had the first day they were doing the making of Andor season 1, and now they're doing the visual effects of Andor, and I think this is because um a lot of that stuff got nominated for stuff like nominated for awards and stuff. So I
Oh
think
yeah.
they're just showing this is the reason why. Like, um, no, I don't think so either. But yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Um, so next up would be Hyperspace Stories. So Dark Horse Comics returns. So it sounds like something up your alley, Eldor, possibly comics. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Um, after that, a look back at Obi-Wan Kenobi. So they're gonna have Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, Indira Varma, and Vivian Lyra Blair, along with executive producer and director Deborah Chow on stage talking about the show. So that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Beyond the Spires, making of Tales from Galaxy's Edge. So this is the PlayStation VR2 game experience. So I'm guessing they're probably going to have maybe the game on stage, people or some of the creators probably playing it on headset or something, like just whatever. Like that'll probably be one of those segments where it's like, okay, let's go talk to some people on stage. um After that, Star Wars cosplay competition. So I guess that's the competition here. So maybe there were, I don't know what that other one was up top.
Probably just to show the costumes and then
Yeah,
the
maybe.
next day give the judgment.
Yeah, probably what it is. Then after that, we got Funko Collect Across the Galaxy. That'll probably not be aired on thing, but that'd be something that I like because I collect those. So that'll be a segment that hopefully there might be few clips of it somewheres on YouTube that I can see.
Yeah, my good buddy Sawyer Yeti there has a pretty expensive, cool collection of the Funkos.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Like different ones?
Yeah, he has a bunch of like really rare and
Oh, cool.
fancy stuff. I don't
Cool.
really know myself because I'm not a collector, but he tells me like, "Hey, this one's this one's really expensive." I'm like, "Oh, sweet, looks cool."
Oh, great. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I did. And then I remarked that it's not Canadian, so I can't buy them. So
Oh yeah.
and who said somebody said I think it was Horizon. He's like, "What do you got against what is it? I don't know what he said. Something about Canadian or something like that. Joke. He's always joking about Canadians. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I checked. I was like, "Oh, it's not on the Canadian site." Of course, it's not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I got that one up there. But yeah, no, there was some there. I was like, "Oh man, I want those," but yeah, it'll take way too much money to get it over here. So, no point. Um, all right. Disney Parks is next, where Star Wars comes to life. They're just going to talk about the Galaxy's Edge and Galactic Star Cruiser and all that stuff. So, nothing too big there. Um, um, Star Wars Animation Game Night after that. Animation Game Night is a competition of galactic proportions starring your favorite animated Star Wars series. So watch Ashley Eckstein, D. Bradley Baker. So everybody from the animated series competing in a feats of knowledge, skill, and luck to prove who is the ultimate Star Wars fan. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Interesting.
so what is this? Sorry, like the
It's
actors playing against each other
it's
in
the
some kind of
yeah.
game?
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah. So your favorite animated Star Wars series um characters. So all the actors are going to be playing
Okay,
against each
so
other.
mixed actors from animated series.
It seems like it, yeah. Well, I mean, they're all from the Clone Wars, like
Oh, they're all from Clone Wars.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, they're some of them have lent their voices to others, obviously. I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
it's all the main guys like James Arnold Taylor, Matthew Wood, Matt Latner, Lanter, all that stuff, right? Anyway, right? Yeah, that's probably why they didn't invite him. He's probably like over there. Why wasn't he in this? Yeah, he's very knowledgeable. Yeah, yeah. All right. I guess they're finishing the day off Lucasfilm Publishing, so stories from a galaxy far, far away. So this seems to be books and stuff. Um, yeah, all age novels, nonfiction from kids comics to audiobook epics. Yeah, I guess that's. I mean, I collect the books, but I don't really go out of my way, so it's not really something that I'd probably be interested in. But maybe there's somebody out there, that is. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people probably do anyways. Kindles. The Kindle. All right. So that ends day 3. So day 4 is the Monday. So this is kind of like the there's some animated stuff here. So they're doing the first panel is going to be the Bad Batch. So Star Wars Bad Batch. So they're going to have everything going on with Bad Batch, bring the actors out, all that stuff, and talk about it. Talk about season 2, all of the highlights and stuff. It's gonna be pretty cool. So because the last episodes are next week, so it'll be done before Celebration.
Oh, okay, so they can go right
So
into it.
they can go right into it, right? So, Marvel Comics presents Star Wars is the next one. So they're gonna talk about Marvel Comics doing Star Wars comics, which they are. What they are they? Is that something that they do? Marvel Comics. Right. From screen to tabletop. So I guess they're going to be talking about tabletop games and stuff. I would imagine. Yeah, so something like that. After that, Star Wars Visions Volume 2. So this is where we're gonna see what's coming up next for that, which should be interesting and exciting. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I love the first season of first volume. It was pretty. Most of it was really good.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with the next one. Hopefully, they bring back some of the artists from the first one because they did an awesome job.
Yeah, for sure. Star Wars Galaxy Size collecting in a micro world with Jazzwares. I don't know. Whatever that is.
Sounds jazzy.
There might be somebody out there who likes that. I don't know. And I guess they're closing off the whole thing with Doug Chang designing Obi-Wan Kenobi and The Mandalorian. So he'll be going over stuff on Kenobi and The Mandalorian season 3, revisiting iconic Star Wars characters like Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. So I don't know, all kinds of stuff. And then they close the show, and then that's it. And then it'll be done for another year.
It's weird because as you read it off, it sounds like so much. Then you get there and it's like it's 3 days. It's so stacked, and it's just like it's done before you even know what happened.
Well, that's it. Like, and I think the whole like segue to like after the panels are done, it's a nice transition when they're doing things like they've done it for a few years now. So, it's nice and it seems to go just like that. Like, so I mean, for me, like I watch it when it's live. Some people watch it when it's not live. Watch it later and they can go through it or whatever it is. But, yeah, it's I love it. I love it.
Well, like I said, I mean, hopefully 2025 we can find a way to all be there, and
Hey man, that'd be super.
And I think it'd be even better because at the end of the day, I think that's going to be. I'm probably going to get our first movie that year, and that means it's going to be a really exciting one.
It will be, yeah, for sure. I'm hoping that these movies that they announce, like, I hope there's some. I mean, there's definitely interest in the movies for sure, but I just I'm kind of with everything going on with that movie that they with the drop of Lindelof from that movie and bringing on Stephen Knight and all this. There's so much going on, so I mean, I don't even know if it's like what's gonna happen there, I guess. But
I think for me the hard thing about it is it's like as much as I'd love to sit here and say, yeah, I'm worried about it, I'm not worried about it. We don't even know what we're walking into.
That's true.
I mean, we don't have no idea what these movies are going to be about. Where's it going to be set? Is it New Republic, Old Republic? Is it are these High Republic movies? Are we talking about Jedi? Are we talking about regular old people living in the Star Wars universe?
Yeah.
We know nothing. So
I think they're gonna re-hit. I think they're gonna re-hit on Acolyte, and they're gonna re-hit on what was the other one there? Skeleton Crew. So I think they're gonna re-hit on that as part of that announcing of the movies, because it's gonna be movies and TV shows and whatever else is coming out that they're gonna announce that first segment. So
I'm actually a little surprised that there's not more on the Acolyte. To be honest with you, because from all the rumors that were flying around, Acolyte is supposed to be something that was either supposed to come out late this year or early next year. So
right,
I would have almost expected a little bit of extra news on that. Same thing with Skeleton Crew. They were saying the same things. Scheduled to it's already shooting. It would be out either late this year or early next year. So
yeah.
the fact that we're almost not getting anything on it kind of makes me wonder what's really the timetable on some of this stuff.
I mean, yeah, some things could have been pushed, and another thing too, like the whole like debacle with the squad, like what is it, Rogue Squadron that happened. Like they announced it. I'm pretty sure they announced it at one of the Star Wars celebrations.
Oh yeah, they made a big deal of it,
right? And then so I mean, this whole thing, like we've been kind of like, the rug was pulled out from underneath us, as they say, with this movie. So I mean, this could happen to the same thing. Like they can announce these movies, and it seems like they're having a hard time keeping writers, or maybe the Disney heads are, are clunking with the writers' heads, and they don't they're not clicking. Like I mean, there could be a whole bunch of crap going on. Like we don't know.
and I
Yeah,
can't
the
let.
way
Go ahead.
the way I usually interpret it is like they're trying to, like they being like the big cheeses at Disney are trying to like take away from the integrity of the work, and that's why we end up with all this type of conflict, it seems.
Yeah.
But that's just a assumption, of course.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it could be anything. Like,
Yeah. But yeah, one thing I wanted to say that I don't know if you guys seen Miss Marvel, that's made by the same producer as that Charmin Obaid Chinoy.
right? Yeah.
Anyways, it's kind of like that show is kind of like directed towards teenagers and has a very likable for people in that age group. So I like almost have a sense that like maybe it's a little bit leaning towards that kind of audience, you know, and in that way they probably turned off Lindelof and stuff like that.
It's
You
possible.
know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep. No, I get you.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, until we really get some idea of what we're getting, though, it's just so hard to sit here and really bash anything at this point.
Yeah.
Like we know what we want. We want movies. We want, so
And that was why Rogue Squadron disappointed me so much, because Star Wars Top Gun was right up there.
It would have been cool. Yeah, it definitely would have been neat. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. What's up
Okay.
next?
Okay, so we went through Celebration, and it sounds like an exciting weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely be in the trying to catch up on it all later on in the day, but that's kind of where I have to be. But that being said, let's get into the Bad Batch, guys. We're like you said, we're closing in on the end of the season here, and we've got what, 3 episodes to cover here, so some pretty exciting stuff. I guess I'll start. I'll read off on the first one.
All right.
All right. So the first episode that we left off on was episode 12, The Outpost. It aired on March 8th, 2023, and basically went like this. Crosshair is assigned to Lieutenant Nolan and travels to a remote Imperial outpost on Barton 4, under the command of a clone called Mayday. The outpost is attacked, and 2 cargo crates containing classified cargo are stolen. Nolan orders Crosshair and Mayday to recover the cargo. 2 clones eliminate the thieves and find the cargo, which is stormtrooper armor. But an avalanche fatally injures Mayday and buries the cargo. Crosshair carries Mayday back to the outpost, but Nolan chastises them for their failure and refuses to provide a medic for Mayday, who succumbs to his injuries. Fed up with Nolan's arrogance and disrespect of clones, Crosshair kills Nolan on the spot before losing consciousness. Later, he wakes up in an Imperial operating chamber where Emery Carr orders him to cooperate with her if he wants to survive. Now, this episode was directed by Nathaniel Villanueva and Brad Rao. It was written by Jennifer Corbett. And let's see here. Guest voices. There was Shelby Young as Captain Bragg. Keisha Castle Hughes as Emery Carr. If I'm correct, she was also the person that voiced L3 in Solo.
Oh, really? Okay.
And let's see, there's also Crispin Freeman as Lieutenant Nolan and Max C. Hampton as the Stormtrooper. Personally, this was actually one of my favorite episodes of the season. I didn't, when I first looked at it, like the first couple minutes, it's just like, I don't know what I'm watching, and I don't know, it just feels like there's gonna be like a weird filler episode. And then as the episode went on, it was like, okay, something's really happening here. I like this. And it was really good to get into the character of Crosshair. It almost shows off how Crosshair is being almost played to be like a tragic character in this series. It's like I think deep down he really should be with the rest of the members of Bad Batch, but obviously he made his choices, but obviously he's now starting to see where those choices are coming back to haunt him. And yeah, it's just it's almost a shame to watch it, but it kind of is what it is with him.
Yeah. I mean, you can see the arc, as Horizon says. Like, I'm enjoying all the Crosshair episodes myself. Like, I love it. It's just to see his arc as, a soldier that follows orders, or a good soldier that follows orders, and then he's starting to see, this and that, what the Empire's doing. And I feel he's starting to I feel this episode here was kind of his, like, I mean, what is tipping point, right? Like it was kind of his breaking point almost. Like, this is where you see him start to, like, okay, the Empire is not good. Like, what's what's going on with this? Like, what, did I do the right thing? Like, I feel that's what's going on in his brain right now. Like, and yeah, just I don't know. It was kind of, you kind of felt bad for the clones that were there, right? Like, they're being treated like garbage
equipment. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're getting the scrap pieces of the Empire. Like, it's like they're finding stuff in the garbage, and here you guys go. This is your guys' gear. And then all for the whole year or whatever these clones have been there, they've been protecting this, like, top of the line stormtrooper gear, to find out, right? So it's just kind of showing how the Empire, is treating the clones and all this stuff. But the Crosshair episodes are I love them, man. Like, they're so much more, they're a little bit more dark, you know what I mean? They have this sort of darker tone to them, right? So it's really really cool.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to add about it is, like, it almost feels like they're taking too long to get to the point. It's like every time it shows Crosshair, it's like, oh, is this going to be what pushes him over the limit yet? Like, are you there yet?
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
And then, like,
Slowly
so
nudging
now
them.
yeah, so now that he's, like, actually killed an Empire officer and stuff, we're like, okay, finally he's starting to, have some sort of dynamic element to like his situation that will most likely like it's hard to say right now, but most likely end
Right.
up back with the Bad Batch or with some kind of confrontation. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, it's good to see it's finally moving that direction because like almost all along, like since episode 1, I've been like, is he going to are we gonna see them face off again or what are we
Yeah.
gonna where is this going?
I feel that because the way that the episode ended, like them obviously he's in Mount Tantus again, like in one of those, like it said, what did it say? An operating imperial operating chamber. So I would say, I mean, they're back on Mount Tantus, and the whole thing with Hemlock wanting to um, go get Omega, get her, bring her back. It definitely sounds like they're setting up something, obviously, like a rescue or confrontation, like, you know what I mean? So it sounds like they're setting it up, and we got 2 episodes to end the season, right? So it's going to be huge. Like, I think it's going to be a great week of Star Wars. So it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good to see where they take it. But yeah, but like you said, yeah, it's like you're waiting, you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting. Is this the one that's gonna turn him? And it's like they finally turn him, and suddenly they pull him right back in, and suddenly now he's getting drugged up, and he's right back where he started. So now it's almost like, okay, here's season 4. Is he finally gonna turn now?
Yeah, right, eh? Yeah. But I mean, do you guys like? What do you guys think they're gonna like? What do you think they're trying to do? Do you think they're like trying to reclone him again, or are they trying to take his powers, see what makes him him, like, and try to put it into a super soldier? Like, what do you guys think that they're up to? Like,
I,
It definitely seems like they value him over the other clones, like whether it's because of his skills or maybe his compliance. It's really hard to say.
yeah,
I mean, I could see, I could see them having the same thing with the other Bad Batch group. So I mean, because obviously you'd want to know what gives Wrecker his super strength, what
Right.
gives Tech his ability to do what he does, what gives um Hunter the ability to track as well as he does. I mean, if you could take all those skills and put it into one super soldier, so to speak, you could. There's a lot you could do with that.
right, yeah,
But
exactly.
also too, there's a large possibility that they already have all that information they need about those kind of attributes, but Omega
Is the
is the
key?
key to
Yep,
unlocking those secrets.
yep.
Well, I
I mean,
mean, the key in more than one sense too, because it might not just be that; it could also be, um, because you gotta also remember they're saying, what was it? Lama Su won't even work without her, so
Mhm.
you gotta
there's
bring her
definitely
back
an
just to,
importance. Yeah,
yeah.
there's definitely an importance for sure. Like, yeah, yeah, it's
Oh
getting
yeah.
good.
Another thing I wanted to mention before we move on to the next episode is Eldor, you were saying Keisha Castle Hughes, you think she might be the voice from L3.
I
So
think it
I
was,
looked it
but
up just to see what it was, and she did have another voice role, but it wasn't L3. It was the queen who replaced um, Padme in episode 3, Queen Apelana. So like
oh,
when
okay,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Padme
That's neat.
became like the yeah. So
Okay, cool.
that other queen lady, yeah.
I
So yeah.
say the name sounded familiar, but yeah, it's like I know this name from somewhere. You can't get them all right.
Yeah, I just wanted to look it up just to see.
No, it's always good knowledge. That's pretty good. Yeah, for sure. It's always nice when they take the live action character, like live action actors, and take them to do other things. Pretty neat.
All right. That being said, why don't we move on to the next episode? And who would like to take this
Yeah,
one?
I'll do that one. You guys have been talking a lot already. All right, so moving into episode 13 called Pabu. here in March 15th, 2023. After informally cutting ties with Sid, the Bad Batch and Omega help Fee Genoa recover a lost artifact. Genoa convinces the clones to accompany her to the peaceful island of Pabu. There, they are hosted by Mayor Hazard and his daughter Liana, who befriends Omega. However, tsunami threatens the lower levels of the city. Hunter manages to rescue Omega and Liana at sea, while Tech and Wrecker help Genoa and Hazard to evacuate the population before the tsunami destroys the lower city. The Bad Batch agrees to stay on Pabu to help the rebuilding efforts. Directed by Stuart Lee and written by Amanda Rose Munoz. Guest voices, we have D. Bradley Baker as the Bad Batch, Michelle Ang as Omega, Rhea Perlman as Sid, Steve Bloom, and Lance Crowder, or as Lance Crowder, Mr. Inta Villager as a villager, Andy Allo as Liana Hazard, Wanda Sykes as Fee Genoa, and Amari Williams as Shep Hazard or whatever.
So Steve Blum, Zeb from Rebels. He voices
Oh, okay.
Zeb. So that's one name that stuck out for me. Sorry.
Yeah, he's voiced so many characters and
He
so many different things.
he gives he actually, I think he runs classes to people who are interested in becoming voice actors and stuff. He teaches that kind of stuff. Yeah. He's done so many voices over the years. But anyway,
just see him try to
is Lance Crowder is just looks like one of the military guys there.
I think he was the main criminal when they were sitting at the table with the guys with the helmets at the first of the episode. Okay. He was the head I guess mercenary or whatever. I don't know. Whatever
those guys
were. And then Mr. Inta, it was the old man from the Pabu.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Inta. that was funny, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, it was kind of seemed like a bit of a filler episode, but it had a lot of cool effects with the whole tsunami and stuff. That part was very action packed and stuff. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was definitely a filler. Like, it's nothing really a lot going on here, to be honest. Like, it just kind of developed a little bit more, kind of showed a little bit more, of Omega being a kid a little bit, right? Showing the Bad Batch, that there's places around that you don't really have to, that you can possibly settle down. Like, I don't know, safe. It was safe, like, showing that there's still good places in the world or in the galaxy, right? I don't know. Yeah, there wasn't too much that stuck out for me here.
I think for me, I'm kind of halfway in your boat with this one. There wasn't a lot that stuck out, but a couple of things that really did stick out were, like you said, you could see Omega kind of almost feeling like she found a home and friends, and you could see how each member of the group kind of almost felt like they were comfortable there. And Hunter started to come along, and then suddenly, we want to stay, and especially at a time when Sid's looking for them. This kind of almost pushes the idea that Sid will double cross them. It's just a matter of when. But I don't know. It's like, whereas most filler episodes, I just usually kind of glance by them and just say, "Give me to the good stuff next week." This one I actually liked. I don't know what it was about this episode. I actually enjoyed this one quite a bit, and it kind of gave me the impression that we're going to see this place a lot more. And yeah, possibly some good things are going to come out of it. And as we get through to future episodes, we're going to probably see some crazy things as well. But I will hold my tongue on that, and we will wait and move on until we get to those episodes.
Yeah. One thing I would say about that is like, uh, there was a bit of foreshadowing at the end that I think is kind of I don't know, sort of playing in front of us, which is like he's trying to say the mayor, what was his name, Mayor something.
Hazard.
Oh yeah, Hazard. He was saying, "Oh yeah, you guys should settle down." And Hunter was being very reluctant because he's like, we're soldiers. Wherever soldiers go, bad things follow.
Right.
And he's like, "But are you just a soldier?" Blah blah blah. So honestly, like in my mind, what I picture is something bad is going to happen to that planet beyond this disaster. There's going to be either the Empire catches up with them, Sid catches up with them, something like that, and they
Yeah.
realize, hey, we actually can't, settle down with this peaceful life or something like that.
I honestly I honestly feel it's not going to be the Empire. I do think it's going to be Sid, to be honest. I feel that with the information that she knows, possibly about them, that she'll send out some sort of bounty hunter. I think that would be pretty cool. I mean, this would be a good spot to bring in, certain bounty hunters that we know in the world. To go look for the Bad Batch. But
Yeah, it's kind of a cool time for that too, because a lot of the bounty hunters that we see in the Clone Wars like don't make it to later stuff. Either they perish or whatever.
Yep.
But at this point, kind of a lot of them are still, around.
Yeah.
Could be really interesting.
Yep. Could be. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Let's move on.
Let's move on to the next one, which was episode 14. Whoever wants to cover that one.
I can take this one, I guess.
Okay.
So episode 14, Tipping Point, aired March 22nd of this year. Several clones imprisoned for disobedience against the Empire, including Hauser, are rescued by a group of rogue clones led by Rex, Echo, and Gregor, and brought to Coruscant, where Senator Chuchi questions them about their intended fate. With only a few encrypted data scraps recovered in the raid, Echo rejoins the Bad Batch on Pabu. So then it segues to, in Mount Tantus, the transport's destination, Crosshair is interrogated by Hemlock about the whereabouts of the Batch, specifically Omega. He escapes in an unintended moment and sends a warning to his former comrades before being recaptured and subjected to more intense torture. After receiving the message and analyzing the data Echo recovered, the Batch learns about the existence of the Empire's secret advanced science division. Directed by Saul Ruiz, written by Jennifer Corbett and Matt Michnovitz. Bradley D. Baker, Bad Batch, Clone Wars, Fireball, Gregor, Hauser, Nemec. So there's a lot of clones in this series, this episode is really cool. Michelle Ang as Omega, Ben Diskin as Captain Pierce, Imperial Tech Stormtrooper number 4, Jimmy Simpson as Dr. Royce Hemlock, Helen Sadler as Dr. Scalder, Keisha Castle Hughes, Emery Carr, Stephen Stanton as Governor Tarkin, Imperial Pilot Stormtrooper number 5, Andy Allo as Lina Hazard, Jennifer Hale as Senator Chuchi, Imari Williams as Shep Hazard, clone trooper, Stormtrooper number 3, and Noshir Dalal as Stormtrooper number 1 and Stormtrooper number 2. So Norshir Dalal, voice actor of the other guy there that kind of got taken away from being in charge. I can't remember his name now.
Oh, that Imperial
The
guy.
other Imperial guy, yeah. What was his name again?
Yeah. Shoot.
Couldn't think about it. Anyways, it's not really important, but that's yeah. So he went from being like the voicing the guys, the head of guy to just voicing stormtroopers. He got a demotion in both aspects. Man, this was cool. I enjoyed this episode because actually the first of this episode kind of threw me off because I was like I didn't really get what was going on at first. I thought it was Bad Batch doing the thing, and I was because there was so many clones. There was a few clones in there. I was like, wait a second, that's because Echo threw me off because I was still thinking he was in Bad Batch or Clone Force 99. And so it was cool to see that. It was cool to see Gregor again. Gregor, as he'll be in he's in Rebels with Rex when they find him on that planet. Yeah, man, this is really cool. Like it went from the whole rescuing stuff. So rescuing the clones from the imprisonment, in the prison ships to seeing that escape that Crosshair tries to do on Mount Tantus. Yeah, it was really neat. And they bring up the Advanced Science Division, which I think that's the isn't that what like Krennic is in the guy with the white coats, right? Krennic was Advanced Science Division
I
stuff.
believe he
So.
was.
Yeah, and the guy you were trying to think of before was Rampart. Vice Admiral Rampart. Yeah.
That's right. Anyways, but yeah, all around, like this is a really good episode. Obviously, another episode with Crosshair for me was really good. Love them again. It was neat to see. I don't know. I'm just rambling. What do you guys think? Like,
So much to cover here.
there's a lot in there. Like it's there's so many names in this episode. Like,
sure.
I mean, on top of just getting to see Echo back with the group, which was good on its own.
Tarkin again.
Yeah, Tarkin's there, and I mean having Rex back in the episodes, and then just seeing, oh wow, okay, so we saved a bunch of clones, and
yep,
and now it pushed the story so well. It did everything that it needed to do. Just and then seeing, like you said, going back to Crosshair, and he's trying to get away. You could tell he's not going to get away, but the fact that he's able to get a signal out beforehand, so that they have a slight warning that something's coming. The only unfortunate part was they weren't able to tell where it came from, but just all around, this episode kept my interest from beginning to end, and I haven't been able to say that about a lot of Bad Batch episodes this season. And this was just, yeah, this one was definitely, this might have been my favorite episode of the season.
Yeah, this was a really good one. Really good. I really like the advanced science department, like we were talking about there. I really like how that has always had this kind of feeling of like these guys are evil, like they really have that kind of feeling whenever you're dealing with people from that group of scientists and stuff, that it's like, man, these guys are really bad. And I feel like they really captured that with the Hemlock character. I think he's pretty awesome.
Oh, he's a creepy looking dude, man.
He's creepy,
Yeah.
man. Like when he came in and Crosshair was gassed and he comes in, he's like, this is my own special blend. Like he's just like, oh my gosh, like this guy's creepy.
Yeah.
It's like between that and the fact that, if you haven't noticed, his facial expressions never change.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, even when if he's happy, that's what he looks like. If he's sad, that's what he looks like.
But I
It's
feel
just
like his expressions, like every time, it feels like he's like going like this, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
this was my own special blend. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think they captured that really, really well with that character for sure.
but yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was just cool, man. Like seeing Tarkin again, like anything with the that kind of brings back like characters from other animated series for me, like, you know, seeing Gregor in there, you know, not as crazy, but still you can kind of you know it's Gregor. Like, uh, I'm pretty sure, like Hauser's a fairly known name, I thought too, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah, it
sounds
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 familiar.
familiar. The other two I wasn't really, Fireball and Namek, I wasn't really familiar with, but Hauser rang a bell. Um, but yeah, no, it was cool. Seeing Tarkin again was really cool. Um,
Oh, Hauser was the sort of the captain that was helping out on Ryloth back when Hera's dad was still in charge and stuff.
oh yeah, okay, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Rebels.
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the one that was trying to like find peaceful solutions when
Yeah,
when
they were
they're
trying
warring
to
on.
fight off the I think they were under attack from the separatists there or whatever.
No,
And
this was right after the Empire taking over.
yeah, it was as soon as and they were still uncertain. Like they were
Oh
like,
yeah. That's right. Yeah, because that was Rebels.
Like I said, I mean, it leads into some good stories with Cham Syndulla. If you haven't read the book Lords of the Sith, um, that is an amazing book. And it's centered around Ryloth and Cham Syndulla, and it involves Palpatine and Vader, and it's just a great story. It was one of those books I was like, yeah, I'll spend a week or so trying to read through this. I had the book done in like a day and a half. It was that good.
man, I wish I could read books that fast. Holy crap!
I just didn't want to put. It was so good, I didn't want to put it down. So
Yeah. Do you guys notice? I one thing I noticed in this, you know, every time they do, they have the Imperial, uh, what is it? Interrogation robot that comes in, or the droid
Oh
that
yeah,
comes
that
in.
probe
So
yeah,
droid. Yeah.
So every time they have one of those guys come in, they never show what they're doing. You know what I mean? They never show where they're like what they're doing, like, because every time the droid comes in, it's like door closes, or it, like, you know what I mean, and then you just hear
Yeah.
the screaming and all this stuff, right? So we
An
actually saw
element
this
of
time
mystery.
the kind of the needle going into the side, but
It's
I mean, I
true.
wonder, I don't know, like, I mean, obviously, yeah, I mean, they don't make that one look as scary as in the movies. Like the ones that are in the movies have like so many spikes and things like out, like it
Yeah,
just looks
like
like
14 needles coming at you.
this
And,
just had
yeah.
one needle, but maybe they just evolved the interrogation droid over the years and just, oh, let's just put more needles on it. I
Yeah,
just
it
thought
kind
it was
of
just something.
yeah, the droid did look less menacing for sure. I found that too. Maybe like you said, maybe it's just less of an element of mystery that we
Yeah,
actually see the insertion.
I don't know. It's just some random thing while I was watching this. I was like, man, yeah, you never really see what they're actually doing. Like, but yeah, nope, I don't know. It was a good all around episode.
yeah, and definitely leads me to be excited for, like we said, was 2 episodes next week.
Oh, yeah, it's 2 episodes next week, back to back, man. It's gonna be like it's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be good to see where it ends up. But yeah, that catches us up on Bad Batch at this point. Um, that being said, let's move on to The Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah.
Which has been very good so far, in my opinion. I
Mhm.
know people have had their opinions, but time for ours.
People are always gonna have their opinions. There's always gonna find something bad about something. So
Exactly. So, I'll start with the first one, which is episode 2, which is chapter 18, The Mines of Mandalore, which aired on March 8th, 2023. And it starts like this. Din Djarin visits Pelimoto on Tatooine during the Bunta Eve festival in search of a new memory chip for IG-11. She does not have one, but instead sells him R5-D4. Djarin, Grogu, and R5 fly to Mandalore, where Djarin orders R5 to scout ahead and ensure that the atmosphere is non-toxic. When R5 does not return, Djarin ventures after it and is attacked by several Alamites, native troll-like species living in the caves. Heading deeper into the mines, Djarin is captured by a cyborg creature and sends Grogu for Bo-Katan's help. Bo-Katan rescues Djarin and kills the cyborg before leading Djarin to the living waters. Djarin immerses himself to restore himself as a Mandalorian. Oh, that was a weird sentence. But a sudden drop off. Sorry. But a sudden drop off causes him to sink deep into the water. Bo-Katan dives in to save him, and on the way back up, she comes face to face with the Mythosaur. This one was directed by Rachel Morrison, written by Jon Favreau. Outside of Pelimoto, can't think of anyone who would be a guest actor.
there wasn't anything that stuck out. Honestly, it was
Yeah.
just they just had the cast. They had Pedro Pascal and Katie and Pelly.
I'm gonna say at this
And-
point, I consider Katie Sackhoff to practically be a regular character, so I don't
Well,
really
this
count her.
season for sure, a regular character, right? So
All right.
Yeah, honestly, that episode didn't really have a lot of characters in it at all.
no,
Part of me thinks that was kind of the beauty of it, though, is you didn't need that much to get the point across, and that's kind of why I think it worked so well. First Easter egg that I liked was obviously during Bunta Eve, which, as you know, if you go back to episode 1, that's where Anakin Skywalker won his first ever pod race.
Mm.
I found it interesting that you can't find what you're looking for as far as a memory chip, but here, why don't you buy this astromech instead? and he ends up taking the astromech, and it's just like, well, that doesn't make much sense, but okay. It's kind of like out of nowhere, the IG-11 idea was gone.
that was kind of like, yeah, I kind of put it to bed. Like the IG-11 thing, done. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
he tried, but when it came down to it,
I like the R5 like back and forth thing between Pelly and R5 and whatnot. It was small little callback to the comedy, the droid comedy, and all that stuff, right? So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, the droid comedy. Yeah, it always resonates with me. I always like those parts. So that I agree. That part was pretty cool, and also too, like the droid acting real scared when they do touch down on Mandalore. He's like, "Come on, just go."
Just go.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of almost leads me to wonder, though, at the same time, because it was one thing I did think of when the droid showed up. It was like, it looked very close to the one from A New Hope that Luke and Uncle Owen were going to buy, and then it blew the little circuit, and then that's when they bought R2-D2.
Yeah.
True.
It's like I kind of wonder if that was on purpose, or if that's actually the same droid.
Honestly, I think it's the same droid, to be honest, because I think what happened, the droid blew up, the Jawas took it back on the ship. Maybe they fixed it back up, sold it to Pelly somewhere's down the line. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Pelly's not a young pup, so I mean, she could be around for a while, right? So
She does have a good relationship with them, it seems. So
right.
it's definitely
So
a possibility.
It does seem possible, yeah.
Oh yeah, she definitely has a good relationship with them, according to it.
But But yeah, getting back into the episode. Yeah, once everything was figured out, it was good to get onto once they got on the Mandalore and watching the situation where he's afraid to fire his blaster, so he pulls out the Darksaber, and you can see he's still having trouble with the Darksaber. But he's able to fend off the Alamites with no problem. And then he sits there and he realizes that, hey, he can breathe here. He goes down trying to find his way to these living waters and gets captured. And he says to go to Bo-Katan, and obviously Grogu goes and gets in the fighter and ends up heading to, I forget the planet that we were talking
that Bo-Katan was on.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it. It escaped me for a second. But goes there, and the one thing that caught me off guard right away is when she said, "We're going to get rid of him once and for all." Kalevala. That's what it is.
Okay, yeah.
And she goes out there, and I think you can almost see she has a soft spot for Grogu.
Yeah, for sure. Who doesn't? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the most badass people in the galaxy has a small soft spot for Grogu. Come on.
But like at the mere sign of seeing him and not Din, like it went from I'm gonna kill them to okay, what's wrong?
Yeah, it was just like it was like a flick of a light. Like that's it.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Where are we going? Like oh okay. Like everything that just happened doesn't exist anymore. Like what?
Yeah,
she's all in just because of that.
Yeah.
Must have been Grogu's twinkle in his eye, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe he used a little mind tricks, you know.
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe
he was training for 2 years.
Maybe it's that boyish charm too. You never know.
You never know, yeah. His 52-year-old self.
So when they get there and they finally start going through, and she's talking to him and about Mandalorians and how she's dealt with Jedi, and they finally get to where the place where Din is being held. The next thing that really got me was she goes in and she starts fighting this cyborg really easily, gets her hand on the Darksaber, and whereas you're watching Din Djarin like struggle with this thing, she does not struggle one bit. Nope. She is in tune with that weapon right away. And it's like, okay. So it's something where if they ever did fight for it at this stage, you could tell he's not going to win that battle at this point.
No. And I mean, you can tell, I mean, she's had it before, right? In Rebels and stuff. So we don't know how long she had it before too, right? So
yeah, well, we know she fought in a war for at least 2 years with that sword.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
and I mean,
has a ton of experience with it.
I mean, it was given to her by Sabine Wren. But that's the problem. It was given to her. She didn't win it in combat.
Yeah.
And that's why people never accepted her as the leader.
True leader. Yeah.
But when she lost it to Moff Gideon, that's kind of where things really started to fall apart for her.
Right.
But I mean, like I said, she picked that thing up and it was like she didn't lose a step. So it really gives you that impression like, okay, it's not bad. But afterwards they go walking through, they go to the waters, and I don't know if I was the only one that was sitting there and shocked out of my mind when the mythosaur, when the eye opened and we're all sitting there and it's like, okay, what is that? Oh, wait a minute, is that?
Well, it felt like we just like saw like Loch Ness monster. You know what I mean? Like it's like
it's but we all knew immediately what it was. And it's
for
just
sure.
Like, it's just
it showed the horns. Like you know, you definitely could tell it was a mythosaur.
So So for me, it was actually the opposite, where I did see the eye and everything, but for some reason I didn't catch the tusk part.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, okay, some kind of big creature or whatever. And then in the episode we're gonna be talking about later, when she mentions that she's seen the mythosaur, I was like, wait a second. I went back, rewatched that episode. I was like, oh yeah, so it is. That is for sure. So yeah, I'm in the opposite boat where I was like, even though that part was really cool and exciting, I didn't quite realize the significance until later when she talks about it, and I had to go back and rewatch it. But rewatching it, I was like, yeah, that was
Of
pretty awesome.
course, yeah. I to me, like the best. I loved when they were like descending down in the city, because it kind of reminded me of like the last season of Clone Wars. Like that's the city they were in. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's where it was
it's
showing.
nuts. Like all
Yeah.
the tunnels down below. That's where Darth Maul was, and everybody going to try to capture him and all that stuff down there. Like,
Yeah.
it was so cool. Like just to see it was neat, and like the overshot view, like the trailer, like when they're coming into the city that was blown up, and it was a really cool visual.
Yeah, it puts a good
Visual
perspective on just how much damage was really done when they did that. The scene where they blew it up, and then all the TIE bombers were flying over it, and it was just like, wow, they really did a number on this place.
Yeah. Like to go all the way down, like that must be. I don't know how deep that would be. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you could tell they were descending for quite some time, and that's like with jetpacks at free fall or whatever. So yeah, it's a long ways down. But yeah, the big reason why I brought up that Bo-Katan had the Darksaber during that war, I'm saying at least 2 years based on the timeline of when she became ruler and the end of Mandalore kind of thing.
right.
But yeah, the reason I brought that up is because yesterday I was talking about with the boys. I was streaming with Soya Yeti late at night, and he was saying, "Oh, it's because the dark saber, you have to truly believe in yourself to be able to wield it properly and stuff." And I'm like, although yes, that is true, she also has wielded it in combat for some period of time. So there's a little bit of both. There's like actual acumen with the blade as well as an understanding of it. So yeah.
I mean, it's definitely possible that she struggled with it in the beginning when she had it too, right? Like,
But then again, I feel like that's a relatively new thing that they added to the lore of the dark saber, because when Sabine first hands it to her, she puts it overhead. Like I've rewatched that scene
no
since.
weight
She's
at
like,
all.
yeah,
Just
she's putting it up in the air. She's like, for Mandalore, and everybody's like, for Mandalore, and
Whoa.
it shows Sabine swinging it around like it's a toothpick and stuff. So
actually, no. If you actually go through the scenes where she was training with
Ezra.
No,
Kanan?
when she was training with Kanan
yeah,
in the beginning, she
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, it feels heavy,
yeah,
and Kanan's explaining why you have to get used to it. You have to understand it's an extension of you, and he starts explaining why it feels that way, and as he starts training with her, and as you see her do a couple of moves, and she's like, wow, suddenly it feels lighter. He's like, good, it's starting to attune to you a little bit. So
Yeah, that's what I mean is like when she first gets it, she says, "Wow, it's heavy." It's literally like a brief moment, and then he's like, "Yeah," and explains it for about how it's tuned to your, belief in yourself and all that kind of stuff, and then instantly she's better than Ezra. So I don't know. It's a little bit different. The arc
maybe it's
of
a Mandalorian thing though.
yeah. Also, she is a descendant of what's his face, Pre-Isla, the
Vizsla.
Mandalorian Jedi guy.
Yeah,
So that could be part of
could
it
be
too.
it too.
Like,
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit attuned to the force.
I'm not 100% sure of that either, though, because if you think about it, the big guy in The Mandalorian right now, he's a Vizsla.
Paz. Isn't his name
And
Paz Vizsla?
yeah, and he tried to wield it, and he couldn't wield it at all.
That's true.
He was worse off than Din was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's more of an individual thing than it is something like that.
You got to believe in yourself.
But yeah, it
Yeah.
could be just Sabine, mentally is that that good, I guess. That in tuned with herself.
Yeah. What do I want to say? Oh, the okay. So when I was watching, that creature, the cyborg creature. So I had, I had like it sort of resembled, to me, anyways. Krang from Ninja Turtles. Sort of like
Yeah, I could see
the sort of
that. Like,
eye. Like it kind
yeah,
of
like
gave me that.
a small creature controlling a
Yeah,
big
it was
robot
weird,
kind of
man.
thing.
Like I don't know. It was kind of weird, but I
I
mean,
thought it was super awesome. Like the look of it looked very menacing and
yeah,
cool. Like it looked pretty cool. And then also that fight scene with her just mangling it, that
like
also was
ripping the
very
crap out of
awesome
it. Yeah, yeah,
scene.
yeah, yeah. Well, I
Like,
mean, it was a weird cool. Like it looked good. It was just
yeah, yeah,
it kind of gave me a brief resemblance of that. But
yeah.
anyways, same with those trolls too. The Alamites. Those
Yeah, I
were
thought it was really interesting learning about those too. Like, I never heard of those before, right? So
yeah,
it's
yeah. Until
some new.
Bo explained
Yeah.
what they were and where they used to live, and now they have taken over the remnants of the city or whatever it is. But
Hmm.
yeah, I found it
Yeah, for
funny at
how
the end though
long?
too. What's that?
So, but yeah, but for how long now? Now that they're probably
Yeah,
gonna all be heading back.
yeah. Um, I found it like at first. So when he went into the water, so they came into the mines. They came into the where the living waters were, and it's funny how Bo-Katan, she's, just strolling in there, whatever. She's like not really believing much, of the lore. And they look at the plaque on the thing and she's like, whatever. That's just the plaque of, the Mandalore, first Mandalore, tame the mythosaur, blah, blah, blah. Right. She was just like, well, whatever. Right.
Yeah,
And
she
then,
actually says apparently this used to be the lair of a mythosaur,
right.
and
Yeah.
then like moments later sees a
Well, that's
mythosaur.
it. Like
It's like,
so
holy.
at first when he was walking in there, he's taking all the stuff off, and then like, woof, underwater he goes, right, and you're like, wait, did he just get pulled under by something? Like, and then you're
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh,
what I thought at first, like pulled down.
but then it's like, oh wait, it's probably his armor because it's probably so freaking heavy. Like, it's not meant to like. Because I think when she went in, she used her jetpack, right? She went down and jetpacked
Hmm.
up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I think their armor, anyways, it was just funny. But yeah, as soon as she saw that mythosaur, you can tell in an instant, like, wait a second, like, have I been wrong about this whole thing? Like,
Well, I think the other part that kind of added to that was, and I thought this was great acting on our part as well. Um, when she's sitting there and she's at that little plaque and she's reading off, and like you said, she's being very aloof about it.
Yeah.
And he just walks up and he's like I said, taking everything off, and he goes right into the oath, and you could tell he's a true believer of what he's talking about.
right, yeah,
And you could see almost as he was taking those first steps and starting to recite, they brought the camera back to her, and her face changed.
mm,
And you could almost see like, wow, it's like I'm kind of making a joke of this, and he really believes. And then that was kind of when he fell in. That's when she ran and went after him. But you could almost see it. And then like you said, from that point, she sits there, she sees a mythosaur, and maybe that helped pull her mindset a little bit to the
back
other
over a little
side.
bit, yeah,
Yeah, one thing really cool about that is like when she comes back up, Din is kind of like whatever, choking on air or unconscious or whatever the case is, and she's sitting there and you can sense the emotion she's going through, although she's wearing a helmet. So I thought that part was like really, really well done because you can like feel that she's like, oh, maybe this stuff is true. Like you can sense that she's like having the internal conflict and like a realization. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, to act in a helmet, honestly, like without, because a lot of actors, they rely on their facial expressions or whatever it is to try to tell the scene too, right? But I mean, I don't know, just it's a whole like the actor in a helmet with the cinematography catching what's going on, like it's quite the thing. They're doing a really good job with it, to be honest.
Yeah, that kind of like honestly it kind of took me aback a bit because I was like, damn, the emotion that she's like conveying while wearing a helmet. That's pretty amazing. Pretty
Hmm.
amazing.
Yep.
I mean, that being said, we're also talking about the same series that was able to do this with Darth Vader as well. So I mean, they've kind
Well,
of
that's true.
they,
Yeah,
they've
I mean,
they've
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 just
got
gotten a lot better at it.
yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah,
they've kind of
fancy
got the book
skills.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
All right. So, anything else we want to cover on
Moving.
this episode? I think we did. I think we covered quite a bit.
Quite a bit on
Yeah, I
that
think
one.
we covered every minute.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more. Like these are an hour long rather than or not an hour, right? No, they're not an hour. They're
No,
like
this was actually a relatively short episode.
yeah, that's true. The longer ones are actually next. I think the next one is a longer one.
The next one, yeah, and it's funny because the day before the next one came out, I was reading some rumor. They're like, "Oh yeah, this next one is 52 minutes." I'm like, "What? 52 minutes? Like on average, these things are 20-minute shorts."
Yeah.
It's like, what did we do to get this? And then
Yeah, right. What are they going to tell in this one? Why is this one 52 minutes?
yeah,
Like,
Why can't they all be 52
why
minutes?
can't they all be 52 minutes? Not enough storytelling.
yeah. All right, so who wants to cover this one?
I'll do this. All right, so episode 3, that's where we're on, right? Convert?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So episode 3, The Convert, aired on March 15th, 2023. After Jaren recovers, he and Bo-Katan depart Mandalore, though Bo-Katan withholds the Mythosaur's existence from him. Upon returning to Kalevala, they are attacked by Imperial TIE squads who destroy Bo-Katan's home and are forced to retreat. Meanwhile, on Coruscant, Dr. Pershing receives a pardon by the New Republic, but it is startled to find Ella Kane among the amnesty program's recipients. Kane agrees to assist Pershing in his efforts to continue his cloning research, which has been outlawed by the Republic. They sneak aboard a decommissioned Imperial class Star Destroyer to steal the necessary materials, but Kane betrays Pershing to the Republic's lawkeepers and later secretly sabotages the mind wiping procedure used on him, significantly worsening its effect. Jaren and Bo-Katan arrive at the secret Mandalorian enclave, where Jaren presents the armor with a sample of the living waters as proof of his redemption. Because she is also bathed in the waters, Bo-Katan is welcomed to the enclave as well. This one's directed by Lee Isaac Chung, written by Noah Floor and John Favreau. Yeah, so what do you guys think about the episode?
For what came off as a filler episode, at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, it was an excellently done filler episode. I think it covered a lot of bases of things that we would want to know, things that we would need to know along the way, and surprisingly, it kind of left as many questions as it did answers. But the one thing I did love about this episode was, how's the saying go? The devil's in the details. Because
That is a saying, yeah.
There's little things that you pick up along the way if you're listening. And as somebody who's read some of the books, they turned out to be really cool Easter eggs. Like if you listen at one point, somebody mentions how the New Republic is trying to get rid of their fleet, and in your back of your mind, you would say, why would the New Republic get rid of their fleet? Now, I read a book called trying to remember. It was a 3-part series. I can't think of the name of the book right now. It's escaping me again. But it basically went over the New Republic as it was starting to build its quote unquote power base. And one of the biggest problems that they were having was not so much that they wanted to keep control because or not even control, but just wanted to keep the peace, so to speak. But the whole time they're fighting with Mon Mothma during this period because Mon Mothma feels that the biggest problem with the Empire was they had too much of a stronghold with all the Star Destroyers and building Death Stars and things to scare people into falling in line. And she decided she didn't want the New Republic to be that. So she felt her best interest was we're going to eliminate the Republic fleet. We're not going to go down this path where we're going to have a fleet, we're going to have an army, we're going to let people have their own, be able to handle themselves, do what they want to do. And deep down, it's one of the worst decisions she's ever made because eventually it does lead to the easy retaking of the galaxy by the First Order because there's nothing to really fight back. But just, I mean, that's one little detail where we're starting to see that, and it wasn't lost on me when I heard it.
Eldor, just to sorry to interrupt, book 3-book series possibly was called Star Wars: The New Republic.
No,
Omnibus.
no, it wouldn't be an omnibus. That's probably a collection of comic books, if anything.
Yeah, those are I just tried to look up like New Republic 3-book series. That was what came up. So yeah. Anyways.
But going on from there, yeah, I mean, seeing Pershing again was great. I mean, it's kind of good to see where he is, what was going on with him. Once I saw Elia Kane, I kind of had a feeling that this was going to be something not good for Pershing. I didn't know if she was going to kidnap him and bring him back to the Remnant or whatever. At the same time, even at the end of the episode when she's messing with his brain, part of me is almost saying, is she just wiping his brain so he can't use this technology anymore, or is she kind of melding his brain so that she can take him back to the Remnant and he will only use it for the Remnant? But then again, they might have gotten everything they needed out of him, so it'd be interesting to see where that goes. But it kind of also makes you wonder who's lying in wait in the Republic on Coruscant. That's infiltrated that we don't know. Like I said, there's just so much there. Also, watching the process of how the New Republic does things and their government operates, with the droids, the questionings, it was just like really weird.
Yeah, it definitely didn't seem like much of a improvement from the way Empire does things, like just kind of indoctrination and brainwashing sort of thing.
Kind of
Yeah.
piggybacked it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we do it on a much easier scale than the others
Yeah.
people did.
We're more polite at it. No, this is not going to hurt you. This is not going to hurt you. I promise you. I promise you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was honestly I liked the episode because it kind of there was a lot of like talk around the community saying that it kind of reminded everybody of Andor a little bit, like there was kind of a little bit of a mission going into something to steal something and all that stuff. So it kind of I see that too, like going into the Star Destroyer and getting his stuff. It was cool, man, to see that Star Destroyer. Just because I mean, like a decommissioned one, they're going in there and yeah, just old remnants of the Empire, I guess. But the whole thing with the whole I feel like she's like a double, like, do you guys feel like she's a double agent? Like,
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
that's what they're like kind of portraying, like that she's kind of still working for well, because they had mentioned one of the some of the guard the what is it, the Amity program recipients there when they were sitting at the table, and they had said that Moff Gideon had escaped, blah blah blah. So I think he might still be behind that whole like thing, and I think they're just wiping his brain because they don't want anything to leak out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
they want to
erase
like,
any evidence or whatever.
right? They want to sever ties. They want to no loose ends. Blah blah blah. All that stuff. They want to keep things, I don't know, sort of in their hands still, or whatever it is. So I don't know. Like, we're obviously going to see Moff Gideon at some point here. Like, he's going to be popping up here soon, I think. So, so yeah. So it was a little. It didn't feel slow at all. Like, some of the acting wasn't that great, to be honest. Some of the back and forth, talk, you're like, oh, all right, like it's kind of getting kind of, whatever. So, but I mean, I still enjoyed that section of it. It did seem to go on for a little bit, but
Yeah, it kind of seemed like a little bit what's the word? Like predictable, I guess, where it's like you can kind of foresee what's going to happen to some degree. Like I felt like the Kane character seemed very insincere from the get-go, and I'm like, why is he trusting this girl?
yeah,
Like
right.
like you could tell right away he was like, oh no, it's like I'm in trouble that she's here. And then for some reason it's just like, whatever, it's fine. I'll just do every single thing that she says, even though I don't trust her. I don't know. Kind of, yeah, it just seemed a little bit predictable that she was gonna backstab him or betray him or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
then to me, I did find it a little bit surprising at the end when dude walks out and then she does crank up the machine and stuff. I
Well,
was like,
yeah.
oh, okay,
Well, I feel
all right.
yeah, like when she double crossed him on the Star Destroyer, I was like, oh man, is she like still working for the Empire? Like, right? So, and then at the end of that, I was like, oh, I think she is, because she's
Yeah.
gonna kill him, like, or
Yeah.
erase his brain. He's gonna be a vegetable or something. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that might be the end of Pershing. We probably won't see him again, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, it seemed like she might have melted his brain or something.
Well, like I said, either melted it or basically set it up to be melded to what they need. The remnant's going to eventually need it to be. But
Well,
yeah.
he says when they bring in the thing, he's like, "That's a mind flare," and then they're like, "No,
No,
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 it's
we
not."
turned it down. Oh no, it's all good, right?"
Yeah.
So like we've seen what the mind flare does. It leaves you with no mind, right?
Yeah,
So,
right. Fillets your mind.
yeah. So I
Um,
feel like that's him from now on. But you know what? Like I think it was cool to see him. Like I kind of felt like I was on his side during that story. But then for unexplained reasons, because before he wasn't ever really a protagonist of any sort. He was just,
no.
you know. So yeah, I thought that was kind of a fun bit going on there. But yeah, to me a little bit predictable. A little bit.
oh, and I was able to look it up. The name of the book series that I read was Star Wars Aftermath.
Aftermath. That sounds familiar. Yeah. I actually think I have that book. I just haven't read it.
It's a 3-part story. The first one's a little bit of a tough read. Once you get past that first story, though, the other two are pretty. They go pretty good.
Yeah. So there was also I know that we spent a little bit of time on the whole Pershing thing, but there's also the whole rescue mission at the first of the episode with oh wait, is that what it was? No, it's not the rescue mission. That's another episode. Sorry. The the interior Imperial TIE squads bombing the home.
Oh yeah.
And all that stuff. I thought like because it opened up right away, pretty much pretty much into that like the whole battle, like the sky battle, which is really cool. A really cool start to it. I think they did that purposely, maybe because like maybe they thought maybe the middle would be it's going to be a little slower in the middle, so let's start the episode off with this big old sky battle, like bombing stuff and shooting and all this stuff, and then work our way into the into the middle section. But I thought it was pretty neat.
I think there also is kind of a key thing that they say during that battle too, when he's like, "Man, these interceptors are a lot harder to kill than the TIE fighters."
Yeah.
Sort of, to me, that's kind of foreshadowing that we're going to be seeing a lot more of these interceptors throughout the series, and they want us to remember that, hey, these are not TIE fighters; these are TIE interceptors. They're a little bit stronger,
yeah.
So when whatever happens, we're supposed to have that in mind or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it also leads me to the question of whose fleet is this attached to? I mean, is this Gideon's old fleet with somebody else in control? Is this Thrawn?
Hey, some people are thinking Thrawn for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
And it was a lot of ships, right? So
yeah. And I don't think Gideon would have something that big this soon. You know what I mean? Like that many ships. Like it's very possible that they're starting to play in or sort of like thread in Thrawn somewheres in there. You know?
Yeah. So it definitely led me to wonder that a little bit. So if they're starting to use this to, like you said, thread it in, I'm kind of interested where it's gonna go. But that being said, yeah, I think I've said everything I've wanted to say about this episode. Anything else you guys want to throw in, or?
Not really. I have a couple more things to say after the next episode about the series in general, but I'll wait till after that.
Okay. In that case, why don't we get to that episode now? Episode 4. Who wants to cover that one?
I'll take it. Guess we can go back and forth, so I'll take the last one.
Okay.
Episode 4, Chapter 20. And I guess because I kind of started talking about it in the last episode because I was like, oh, wait, no, that's the next episode.
Yeah.
I did that last time too. I don't know. I read ahead and then I just anyways. So.
Oh, wait, we haven't talked about this yet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, at least I stopped myself this time. Before the last episode, I just kept going. You're like, oh, no, that's next episode. Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
All right. Episode 4, Chapter 20, The Foundling, March 22nd, which was this week. So if you guys have not watched it yet, please turn us off for a second.
Yeah, go watch the episode already. Why are you watching us
right now and then come back to us later? Like, do it, man, because this one's a good one. All right. Jaren introduces Grogu to Mandalorian combat training. Grogu wins a training match, but his opponent, Ragnar Vizsla, is captured by a large Shriekhawk. Bo-Katan gathers a hunting party, which includes Jaren and Ragnar's father, Paz Vizsla, and leads them to the Shriekhawk's nest. The armorer forges a new piece of Mandalorian armor for Grogu, a rondelle bearing Jaren's Mudhorn sigil. As she works, Grogu has visions of his rescue from the burning Jedi Temple by Jedi Master Kelleran Beck and sympathetic members of the Naboo Armed Forces. Vizsla's over-eagerness to save Ragnar disrupts Bo-Katan's plan and leads to a difficult aerial rescue in which Bo-Katan and Jaren rescue the boy unharmed, kill the Shriekhawk, collect its chicks, and earn the clan's respect. As the armor replaces Bo-Katan's pauldron, lost in the scuffle with the pterosaur, Bo-Katan reveals her encounter with the mythosaur, but the armorer meets her account with indifferent disbelief. Directed by Carl Weathers and written by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. So what do we think about this episode, guys?
Before we do get into that, I feel like indifferent disbelief is definitely a interesting interpretation of that set of events, because I don't think that is what the armor meets her with.
Right.
Like she acts indifferent, but I don't think she's in disbelief.
But doesn't she like initially like shrug it off? No, you
Well,
didn't.
she says she says when you walk the way of Mandalore, you will see many things.
Yeah.
That's a noble vision, she says. So at
Yeah.
first she thinks she's like seeing things, and then she's
Yeah.
like, "No, I was in the living waters out of Mandalore, and I seen it." And then she's like, "This is the way." So I don't think she is saying, "I don't believe you that you didn't
Yeah.
see it." I think she's just saying, "Yeah, because you're one of us, you've seen it."
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Well,
So the elephant in the room, guys. The elephant in the room is Kelleran Beck, our good old friend Ahmed Best. Yes, Kelleran Beck.
it's funny because when that came up, and they're going through, and obviously the Jedi are getting slaughtered as they're trying to save Grogu, and one of them, you hear one of them say, "We've got to get him to Kelleran."
Kelleran, yeah.
And at first, in my mind, it was like, where do I know that name from? It's like wait a minute, I know that name. and suddenly the door opens and I'm at best to stand there. I'm like, holy shit, it's him. Because I remember we were just talking about a couple minutes ago the show Jedi Temple.
Right. Yep.
And he's on there as Jedi Master Kelleran Beck.
Kelleran Beck. Yep.
And it's like holy crap, they really brought him in to do this.
Yeah. It was so cool.
Yeah, his skills definitely were pretty awesome as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Picks up the spare lightsaber, goes two-handed, he's deflecting all the shots back at the clones. Oh yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, and from what I know about the Kelleran Beck character, he's basically the person who would teach Jedi, like Jedi younglings, before the stage where you would get a lightsaber to play around with. So even before they went to Sindralig or Yoda, even to start training with them, Kelleran Beck was the person to train them. And so you would expect Kelleran Beck to be a pretty strong Jedi and to be that. And yeah, just watching the way he tore through the clones, it was pretty nice to watch.
Oh, it was great. It was so good. Like, yeah.
One criticism I have of that scene though is like, so we know Jedi as being like quite good, lightsaber wielders, and for the most part, blasters are not really very effective weapons against a Jedi with a lightsaber. But like maybe 4 clones come through this elevator, and there's like some like 10 Jedi standing there, and then the clones just are like pew 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 pew, knocking them down left and right. I was like, I don't know, that part felt a little bit off to
But
me.
you also get the impression that the 4 Jedi that were standing there were younger Jedi, not as well trained yet as, like, if it was 4 masters standing there and they got torn down like that, I would probably be in 100% agree with you. But they all looked like Padawans. I mean, like people around 13 to 15 years old could probably hold their own in a well-designed situation, but they may not be ready yet.
Like, and you got to remember, like, too, in like during the Clone Wars, I think all the Jedi that were with like their commands and stuff, like they were all Jedi masters, I'm pretty sure, out in the field. I'm pretty sure. So I mean, like all the stuff that we saw with all that, like yeah, of course they can hold up their own out there, but yeah, I think this was a temple. It might have been a room full of just Padawans or whatever. That's definitely possible for sure.
Yeah, I feel like when Order 66 came, there was some degree of leniency because there's the element of surprise, right? So I'm like,
Yeah, me
okay,
too.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
they're not seeing that they're about to get the blaster to
But
the
they saw
back
them
or
coming through the
whatever.
door, like
But yeah, this one they all gather around the door. They have their
Yeah.
lightsabers out. Couple clones come through. They're just like boom, 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 taking them out. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Like they definitely had the jump on the clones and the clones still won. So that was one thing I just found a bit weird. But I did like the episode, don't get me wrong.
I mean,
Just a criticism that I had of that one scene.
so
That's
were
fair.
all the clones? Did you guys were all the clones there from the 501st? Do you guys like?
They're
I
supposed
know
to
I
be.
seen the helmet that looked like the 501st helmet, but
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if all of them.
I'm pretty sure I saw blue for sure, but I just didn't know if there was more that came after, if it was all 501st that took the Jedi Temple down. Like,
Now, from what I know, it was pretty much all of Anakin's troops that didn't go with Ahsoka.
right. So like,
Vader's fist, is that what they call him?
Well,
Or is that different?
it turned into Vader's fist, but
yeah.
it wasn't that just yet.
Just
Wasn't Anakin's wasn't the 501st like a little bit more elite though, like at their skill than the other ones?
Compared to the
was
other
that
clones?
Yeah, they
compared
were
to the other
considered
ones, maybe?
considered one of the strongest.
Yeah.
Strongest.
Yeah, and that final scene of or final series or season of the Clone Wars when Cody and Kenobi are kind of pinned down on the bridge, and then the 501st pull up and they're just like, yeah, let's go under, and then they just take them out. Anakin just walks up to the tactical
just
droid
easy,
and
yeah.
kills him. I was like, okay, these guys are, they're pretty elite.
They're
pretty
liking
elite.
what they're doing, yeah.
Yeah.
No fear. Yeah. Well, who would have fear? Like, come on, if your commander was if your general was Anakin Skywalker, like, give me a break.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, even him, like you see that fight scene actually was almost a mirror of the Clone Wars movie when Anakin kind of first has a big confrontation with a big group of separatists, and you could tell he definitely has increased in his skill and confidence and all that.
oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, he's just standing there, bullets are just flying by him. He's like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah. He's like, there's always a head somewhere, or says something like that, and then just kills the tactical droid.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So what else? So yeah, so obviously that's the big, for me that was the big thing of obviously that episode with Ahmed Best, but there is other stuff going on. Don't you find I find it weird, like the planet that they're on, the Mandalorians, like why is there so many big creatures on this planet? Like, why did they pick a planet that's got all these huge ass creatures? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it part of their training? Like, is it something, they did purposely? Like,
Well, that could be part of why they always say the Mandalores are such strong warriors, is just growing up in such a, volatile planet or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of almost leads you to the question, because even if you looked at the beginning of the episode when they're quote unquote training, obviously the kids are training against each other, which I'll get back to that in a second. But if you notice, like the older Mandalorians, they're all shooting at the water.
I know, right?
And the first thing in your mind is, what the hell are they shooting at? Why are they wasting ammo on shooting at water? And then you go back and you think about that, and it's like, oh yeah, there's some pretty big fucking creatures in this planet.
Yeah.
So
just a few days ago, they were attacked by that big turtle, alligator, dinosaur thingy.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know if they're trying to get another one to show up out of nowhere so they can fight it again, or
I think they were instigating a fight. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like, just shooting at the water. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Come on.
You want some more?
You want some more? We got you.
It's like, come on, we're ready.
I also didn't know blasters could shoot paintballs. That's new to me. It's pretty cool.
Well, I think well they said it was a training dart, right? So
Oh, okay.
training, it
Yeah,
was a
yeah. They
training
did
dart.
have the
Yeah,
dart thing. Yeah. That's
yeah,
true. That's true.
Yeah, and thank you for that segue because I was coming back to that. Um, but
the great fight scene between the kids.
well, to me, it's not even so much the great fight scene between the kids. My God, they designed a training dart gun to fit Groku's arm. It's like, who else were they building that thing for?
Yeah.
That thing
How many
was tiny.
babies? Yeah.
Well, maybe it was for the toddlers that were
Yeah.
supposed to be fighting against each other. I don't know, like
It's
Yeah,
like, as you look at anybody
once
else,
you
it's like
can
gonna fit their
speak the
finger.
Yeah, once you can speak the creed, you get a helmet. But before that, you're just on the training darts with
yeah,
you know, the baby dart shooter.
yeah, yeah. It was kind of a weird. I don't know, like it was kind of a weird. Hold on, I think I got to sneeze. Okay. Yeah, it was kind of honestly, it was kind of it was kind of silly, to be honest. Like the kid, I know. I mean, they start them at young ages or whatever it is. It was just kind of, I don't know. I think it was just a thing to show off Grogu's uh Jedi ability, that he can, what he can
Yeah.
do or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
absolutely what
seemed
it
like the
was.
purpose. Yeah, the purpose is to show the Mandalorians what Grogu can do. But yeah, the way that they got there maybe was a little
I don't know. It was
a little silly.
Challenger. We got a Challenger right here. Challenger, like like okay, like calm down, like.
Yeah.
It's like you're almost waiting for like an announcer like from the UFC to come out or something.
Yeah, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, the guy who is the referee, I almost thought he was gonna say something like, this is a small child, or some sort of dispute, but he's like, no, we're ready. Here's your weapons. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that was pretty weird. So when the armorer, I know I'm jumping to the end now with the whole is it the end? No, wait. Oh no,
There's two scenes with
it's right
the
after that, yeah.
forge. Yeah.
So the forge part. So this is before, so when she was forging that metal, I honestly thought she was creating a helmet, to be honest. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I know they had said that they're not supposed to have a helmet before they can speak the creed or whatever, but for some reason I'm still seeing Grogu eventually wearing a helmet somewhere down the series. I don't know why. The ears sticking out of the helmet or something, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I could see. I could see eventually. I feel like at some point they are gonna give him a helmet that doesn't fit him at all. Like
yeah.
he'll be like swimming in it, and then maybe eventually he grows into it or something like that. I could picture that for sure.
But that piece of armor that she forged for him and put him, like, it was like the size of it, like it was huge, like it was like a
Yeah.
big shield, and it's like and conveniently enough it just like clicks into place, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, where was the piece that it clicked? Was there a clip there? Like, I don't.
Well, he does have the
Well, he
chainmail.
does have the chainmail that she made.
So it just automatically just connects to the chainmail.
Yeah,
I guess
well,
so.
honestly, all the Mandalorian armor is kind of weird in that way. I would say, like
Like-
even the pauldrons, same thing. They just put it on there, and it's like
And
you
it
hear
just
this little
stays,
click,
like-
you know?
I
So
don't
there
remember
is a little
seeing
bit
a
of
clip
magic
there
going on.
beforehand. Yeah, there's magic. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mandalorian magic.
I mean, my thing is like you said. I mean, just this big round thing. I mean, it almost gives me like an image of like Flavor Flav with the huge clocks.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like
I was messing with the chain. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like wait, why that? All the things you could have made for him, why that?
I know, right?
It's a rondelle.
A rondelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the forge. I think this episode kind of gave us a better understanding of how important the forge is to their culture and their creed and stuff. Like before we seen it was really cool. Those scenes where they do the forging, they put a lot of effort into making it look really nice and awesome.
Mm.
Now we actually see that it's like somewhat of a spiritual connection where it brings back memories and exposes weaknesses and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Also, she uses it to test the living waters, right? And it kind of lights up all blue and stuff.
Well,
So
I,
I thought that was pretty cool.
I think to take it a step further, I mean, the biggest part of this episode is we really got to see a lot of the Mandalorian lore that we didn't really know about. I mean, one of the best examples of that would be when that group went off into to go after the tree hawk or whatever they're calling it.
Oh yeah.
And they're all sitting there around the fire, they're getting ready to eat, and it's like, well, yeah, everybody goes and finds a spot to sit where they can take their helmet off and eat without being seen. And then just as Bo-Katan was getting ready to go find a spot, was it Paz Vizsla, I think, that like stopped her and said,
Yeah.
You're the leader of this group. You get the honor of sitting by the fire."
Right.
And it's just like, okay.
Yeah, that was cool. That was.
I mean, but that's stuff that we never would have known about Mandalorians going in.
Yeah, the little things like that.
Yeah, and I like that they brought back the 3 baby Shriek Hawks, because they always talk about the legends of Mandalore where they used to fly dragons and mount epic beasts and all those kind of things. So I feel like
Yeah.
we're definitely looking at a Mandalorian riding a dragon later in
Well,
the
maybe that's kind of the reason for the planet, though, too. You know what I mean? Like that kind of riding these big creatures. I guess that kind of makes sense, but it's just weird. Like you just all of a sudden this giant dragon comes out of nowhere, and you're like, what the hell is this dragon doing here now? Like,
Also, did you see the size of the thing that ate it when it went in the water?
Right,
Dude,
yeah.
like that thing was massive, right? That's
wasn't it?
probably
Well,
like
wasn't it another one of those crocodile things?
it could be, but it definitely seemed like huge, because when that Shriekawk grabs the Mandalorian or the young foundling,
Yeah.
like it's significantly bigger than them. Like it's like this huge thing, and then it looks like a little mouse compared to that the underwater creature.
I think it seemed like a callback to, I mean, not a callback, but it reminded me of Jurassic Park. The whole like
I was gonna say a lot of that stuff reminds me of the prequels when they go
episode
on
one.
Naboo. Yeah. And
Okay.
there's like
That makes sense,
the creatures eating the creatures, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you know?
Yeah.
That kind of like, yeah, that makes more sense because in that scene too with Keller and Beck, the members of that, it was Naboo armed forces, right? So it was like, oh yeah, Naboo's in there too.
And they have the Naboo starfighter that they hop in.
Yep.
See,
Yeah.
that leads me to more questions too, though, because obviously he was in. They saved Grogu from the Empire or the Imperial Remnant. Now, you think about it for a second. A Naboo starfighter is, well, not a starfighter, but whatever the ship is called, was what saved them.
Or whatever.
Now, obviously, I'm hoping in the next couple episodes we're going to see where they end up. But in my mind, I'm saying, okay, so does this mean he went back to Naboo with them, thinking, oh, well, he'll be safe there? Because it wasn't the case. Because obviously, Naboo was one of the first planets to actually latch onto the Empire because Palpatine was the Emperor.
Right.
And ended up becoming a stronghold. So they had. So that means, okay, well, we've got this little baby Yoda here. Would you like him, Palpatine? or was it just a means of maybe some of the group that was left over from Padme's side that just helped him get away, and who knows where they ended up. So that is kind of something in my mind that I'm curious as to where they're going to go with that in the story. But
you know what you just made me think of, that voice actor that we were talking about that played the replacement queen for Amidala there. I can't think of the name now that it's been a little minute.
Keisha Hughes or something like that.
Yeah. So anyways, maybe with the reintroduction of that voice actor, maybe they have plans to bring back that queen character as an imperial Naboo queen, maybe.
it's a possibility.
But yeah, that would kind of go in line with what you're talking about. Like, it would be interesting to see, yeah, what developed of Naboo and what where the Jedi were going with Grogu, with the Naboo ship and stuff. So yeah, interesting.
There's like a whole if you guys read like you can read up on the like Wikipedia there and stuff, but it's got stuff on the Naboo stuff, like the rise of the Empire era and all that stuff, and there's a lot of stuff here, I guess, but you could probably find it there for sure. But it was saying, I just glanced over something. It's saying that Naboo's then queen had been housing Jedi runaways fleeing from the Empire's Great Jedi Purge at her own risk. Blah blah blah, all that stuff. There's a bunch of stuff here. I'm not going to read it all, but it's a good read, I would imagine. Learn some stuff.
All right, so
Anyways.
is there anything else we wanted to cover on this episode? I know there's a lot here, so.
Oh yeah, like I said, when Bo-Katan mentioned that she's seen the Mythosaur, I was like, wait a sec, I missed something here. I need to go back. So we already talked about that, but I just wanted to mention that scene was pretty cool too. I feel like she kind of connected in the armor in such a way that they both probably respect each other a little bit more just from that conversation.
Yeah. I when they were battling that Shriekawk and Bo-Katan gets like hit by it and the plate goes flying off. As soon as that plate went flying off, I was like, oh, she's getting a new sigil. Watch, she's gonna get a new pauldron or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And she's gonna get one of the. I didn't know she was gonna go night owl and
Mythosaur.
the Mythosaur, right? Everybody can wear the Mythosaur. Every Mandalore can wear the Mythosaur. It belongs to the Mandalore.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was very noticeable when the imaginary clip came off with her pauldron as well.
The imaginary
Like
adhesive
they made
just
like
gave away.
yeah, there was like a clip sound that was louder than the voice of the Shriekawk, louder than the jetpack, louder than
The blaster
blasters, whatever
fire,
else was going on.
Click.
It was like click.
Yeah, it's a powerful clip.
Yeah.
The spring let go. It was done. It needed something. Yeah.
Yeah. Cracking up over here. Yeah, I
But
kind of noticed that before, like the Mandalorian thing. So I'm glad you guys brought that up. Like the pieces of armor, they're just like, yes, put this piece of armor, and then there's like this click. Oh, it's in there. It's
well,
good.
it's almost like a clicker. It's like a couple like it's almost got its a mind of its own. Like it just like like
yeah,
just
like
that's it. Like you're
hydraulically, like yeah.
Okay.
It just knows.
It's a symbiote, yeah. What was I gonna say? Dang it.
I think the only last thing I want to throw at this is I've noticed that a few of my favorite episodes of The Mandalorian I can link to a few people, and I could definitely link a couple of those episodes to Carl Weathers. So when I saw that he had been behind this episode, it didn't surprise me that I liked this episode so much. I really do hope they keep giving him opportunities to direct different Star Wars projects.
Yeah,
because I think he does a great job with it. And I'm all going through. I'm even more excited for 2 weeks from now. Because I found out that one's going to be directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, another name that I keep bringing up, and again, a person who I think is totally dialed into Star Wars, and I don't. It could be a complete trash filler episode, and I still think she's going to find a way to make it really good. So it's good to see some people that keep coming back. I hope they keep bringing them back, and that's really all I wanted to throw out there. But just felt the need to be said.
It's always good too. Like to me, if you're looking at the writing, right? If Favreau and Filoni are attached to an episode, like if Filoni's attached to an episode, it's bound to be good, in my opinion. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
And it definitely showed because, I mean, I believe he covered the Order 66 stuff,
right.
and obviously, first thing we talked about. So,
I think anything involving Clone Wars era stuff, Filoni's going to be in, and I think, I don't know about the writing for the rest of the episodes, but I thought I saw Filoni in another one of them too. I'm not too certain, but. But I mean, if he is, it's like, yeah, he's gonna be. It's gonna be another good episode.
I'm checking real quick while we go talk.
But anyways, yeah, no.
Looks like episode 7 he's gonna be involved in.
Okay, so expect that one to be probably having some Clone Wars-esque stuff in it, like.
Yeah, and like
maybe,
I said,
possibly, you know.
The Bryce Dallas Howard one is episode 6, so I mean, I think
number 6, number 7. Wow, yeah, okay.
I think between those 2 weeks, we're probably going to be looking at something pretty good.
It's all been good, man. Honestly,
I think you know what I mean by that, though.
I know, I get you. They're gonna be. I hope they're long ones too. Did they say what the length of the next one is? Because I know they've been telling us episode before it happens the length of the next episode.
Unfortunately, this doesn't, and I was kind of I've been kind of catching them like a day before the episode releases.
Okay.
Like that was the one thing I was disappointed about this week was after seeing the episodes were starting to get longer, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, this one's only 25 minutes long. What?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the Bad Batch is longer than this. What is this? But I mean, it's also weird because it's like while I sit there and I'm mad about how short the episode was, it felt like it moved along well enough that I didn't realize that it was a short episode, so it didn't bother me. But I think that's just a byproduct of just enjoying the episode that much.
Right. Yeah, I mean, as long as the content is there, right? As long as the content is there, you don't worry about the time, to be honest. Like,
yeah, one thing with them being short is like lately I've been kind of busy, and then I have 3 different shows that are all releasing on the same night, so I almost enjoy that I can fit all 3 of those shows into a smaller package. And like you said, those episodes are enjoyable, so it's not like we're really losing out per se that they're shorter. So
Yeah,
I like
right.
it. But definitely do want some longer episodes as well, which we know we are getting.
Oh, we hope we're getting.
Or hope we are getting. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, one thing somebody mentioned last night, they were like, "Yeah, Mandalorian's pretty good, but I feel like they need a villain." I'm like, it's coming. I feel like it's coming. Like,
Yeah.
we don't know who's behind that Imperial strike, like we were talking about earlier, and
honestly, you know what? If they end the season, sort of revealing that it's Thrawn, and then it kind of kicks into, you know, Ahsoka being brought out this year, even though I still think in that show, I don't think Ahsoka or Thrawn's going to be in it right yet. I don't know, like, because they haven't been saying much about him at all. Like, I don't even think there is an actor or anything tied to him yet, or maybe they're just keeping it under wraps. I don't know, but it would be cool, you know.
I mean, I think a really cool way you could do it at the end is you could sit there, you could have just somebody standing there with the white suit on. You grab the voice actor, have him say something in Thrawn's voice. Even if you want to like turn it around, just have it focus on the red eyes. Just to see that it's definitely Thrawn. Certain things that you could just throw out there that you know who we're talking about. We don't have to really give you everything just yet. And then suddenly, yeah, Thrawn's the guy, is the puppet master here.
It'd be
It
cool
would
to
be
see,
awesome.
like, it'd be cool to, like, if like there was something attached to Thrawn, and they just like sort of reveal that thing but they don't show Thrawn. You know what I mean? Like, oh
Yeah, I
my
mean-
gosh, it's Thrawn. Like,
or like I said,
Uh,
it could just be like a dark figure in the background, and you hear the voice, and you know the voice. And that would be perfect.
oh man,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, one thing they talk about on those like making of Star Wars stuff that's all on Disney Plus is like every Star Wars character has to be recognizable even as a silhouette or, you know, a vague image of that character. They have to be recognizable.
Yeah.
And I feel like Thrawn definitely has that with a few different things. They could just show a silhouette of somebody standing with their arm behind their back,
Yep.
you know, in that Thrawn
That's
pose.
Thrawn.
And I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, I feel like we would know who it is just from that alone. Like
Yeah.
I
even
mean-
Boba Fett, when it showed Boba Fett, looks so different from sorry, back in season 2. Was that 2? 1?
Season 2.
Anyways, when
Yeah.
they show Boba Fett, I feel like I knew it was Boba Fett, even though he doesn't look like Boba Fett. They just somehow capture that character just from like a silhouette. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
But like I said, with Thrawn, it doesn't even have to be a silhouette. It could just be. It could be just a voice. The voice would give it away instantly. You could almost maybe even as he's talking, you could put in a light theme into his music. A lot of people probably wouldn't recognize that right off, but those that do, they're gonna know. And it's, I mean, I found the Thrawn music to be pretty powerful. Anyway, I love his theme music. But yeah, there's a lot of ways you can introduce him without even showing him, and I think you could really get this point across well.
Yeah, I think like what you guys were saying though, like bringing somebody in at the end though, I feel like that would fall short of this season being, you know, having some sort of conflict for or climax for them to work towards. So I feel
Yeah.
like maybe Gideon is, you know, like how you're saying they kind of mentioned that he's still
He's
kicking around
escaped, yeah.
somewhere or whatever. So maybe he's going to be like more of a villain for this season, but you know, I guess it's yet to be determined, but they definitely did, you know, give us a little taste of like there is a villain out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I
Or
mean,
I mean, like,
God,
I was just gonna say, like, the Filoni episode could be it too, right? Filoni could pull in something there, Thrawn related. You know, I don't
yeah,
know.
I mean, if you think about it, Gideon could be the guy that's the direct threat, but again, you see him towards the end of the season, maybe in the last episode, like in the last couple minutes, you just see him suddenly he's on a transmission to somebody, and like basically saying everything's going according to plan. Suddenly, you hear the voice, and it's like, okay. and
That would be
at
good.
that point, it's like, okay, now I know where we're going, and I think that so.
Or it could have been him the whole time, like doing this whole thing, and Moff Gideon was working for him already. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
Thrawn could
That
have
is
been
a very Thrawn move.
orchestrating his whole thing the whole time since season 1. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, since the death of Palpatine, even.
yep. Never know.
Yeah, I mean, he could have been all along looking for these hidden Mandalorians, and this is the plot to try to get them out of hiding, or you never know with what direction they're gonna go.
Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely an exciting idea. Um, I hope we. Well, we'll see what happens. I'll just leave it at that. So is there anything else you guys wanted to cover with this episode, or?
I'm good.
I think we covered
Yeah,
quite
I
a
feel like
bit.
we did a lot here. Yeah.
Um,
I don't think there's too much we could say that we haven't already said. Pretty much.
all right. So, lastly, anything you guys want to add in? I think we're pretty much kind of close to the end of the podcast here.
Mm.
The um that game is coming out this week, I believe Monday. Fallen Order, Survivor, the
No,
new
it
one.
got pushed back a month. It
A
was
month.
supposed to
I think
come
it's April now. Yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to come
Oh.
out this week. It's not going to be out until the end of the month.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I seen there was like pre-ordering stuff is out there on the market and stuff. So I was like,
Right.
oh,
Definitely.
Yeah.
coming up. Yeah.
I think
So,
they used an extra month just to get all the pre-orders in.
yeah, increase the sales through pre-order, maybe.
And that being
Or
said,
maybe
I'm
you never
definitely
know.
looking
Maybe
forward
that.
to it.
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to it. I've watched some of the trailers. Looks like it's going to be an exciting game, and I'll definitely be playing it when it comes out. I don't know about everybody else, but
No.
Yeah, for me, it's not really my genre, but I will be watching people on Twitch just to
Yeah.
get a
I'll
glimpse at it.
I'll get the story probably. I'll watch the story and I'll watch somebody finish it and then I'll go back because I'm interested in the story, to be honest. Like, and I'll eventually play it myself because I still haven't played the first one. I have it and I still haven't gotten around to do it. So
it's fair.
I need to get on that. But I totally watched the story when it first came out, the other one, Fallen Order, and like I knew the whole thing and I thought it was a great story. So I'm interested to see what the story is going to be in this one for sure.
I mean, the one thing I will say about how they make these games is I'm excited about the fact that they make what's basically a story mode. So if all you want to do is just get the story out of it, you can just sit there, play through it. It's really easy. You get your story, everything you want out of it. But if you want the challenge, then you bump it up and you play it like you want to play with the challenge. Me, I'm not a story mode guy. I've got to at least have a little bit of challenge in my game. I'm not gonna be playing like like insta death mode, but
Legendary.
yeah, that's a little excessive even for me. But I'll definitely probably go through some normal mode of sorts. Just excited to get into the game and just, you know where I'm going. But I know I'll definitely be playing it. Hopefully I'll be streaming it. But we'll see where it goes. All right. Was there anything else we want to add in?
No, I'm good.
All right.
No, that's pretty good. Yeah.
I'm gonna say we did pretty good today. Another good 2.5. Sorry, another good 2.5 hours in.
Yeah.
So, guys, where can we find you? We'll start with you, Swampgrass.
I'm on Twitch at twitch.tv/swampgrass420. There Monday to Friday. Well, I don't know. Lately, I've been a little bit more loose with my schedule, but for the most part, guys, I'm there Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. Eastern. Also on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I do Marvel Strike Force action. That other stuff, Monday to Friday, that's Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I also do Marvel Strike Force. After that, do a little PvP action with their version of Grand Arena, and yeah, that's about it for me. Oh yeah, weekends too. If we have Grand Arena and stuff in Swigga, then I'm doing Grand Arena on Sundays as well.
All right, awesome. Andy Beads, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me on Linktree. Link linktr.ee/Andy_Beads. You can find my Twitch link, my Discord link, whatever, anything in there. That is my community in there. So I do stream consistently on Saturday mornings, 7 a.m. Eastern time. And we do I've been doing Marvel Snap, so that's kind of what I've been streaming lately. I've been trying to throw in streams here and there, so if you can get up that early, and it's usually just the Europeans that are on with me, but if you can get up that early, would love to have you guys stop by and show you the game that I've been playing. But yeah, that's kind of where you can find me in Linktree, so everything's there. Check it out.
All right, nice. Of course, I am Darth Aldor. As far as Twitch, you can find me on this channel right here that we're currently broadcasting on. You can also find me under Darth Eldor on YouTube, Twitter. That's pretty much where I lay my hat at this point. Still working to get a little bit more work done as we work through and starting to get into more stuff. But as of right now, we're getting the plan together and we're starting to work on things. Hopefully soon we will have our own channel set up for the podcast here, and we're going to start working on getting some other things implemented, because this is, I think the three of us have decided that this is something we enjoy doing, and I think we all want to continue with it, and we're kind of hoping that all of you will come along for the ride. So once again, thank you all for joining us this evening for the Shadow Collective podcast. This was episode 6. We'll be back in a couple weeks for episode 7, which will probably be in the heart of Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll think. We'll see what goes on for that week, I guess.
Yeah. So we might be back that week. We might be back the week after. Either way, we're gonna have a lot of news to report from there. And I'm kind of excited for that. So we'll see you guys then. Thanks again, as always, for coming by, and may the Force be with you always.